Number 11, ignore your outsiders and immigrants. Outsiders are very unique. How many people have been born in the community you live in right now? Okay, I'm going to say something you might take offense to, but you don't have an appreciation for your community because you were born there. You were there by default. You may have an appreciation, but you don't have the same sort of appreciation that an outsider does. Because an outsider had all the world to choose from and picked your community. You were there because you grew up there, you got married there, you went to school there, and so you're sort of here. But they picked it. They came here on purpose. They saw some value and some appreciation of what your community has. And so if you ask them, they will tell you what they see the potential of your community has with outsiders' eyes, and they can tell you why they moved there. Better than you can when you've lived there your whole life and haven't got that same sort of perspective. You didn't pick it deliberately. Now, it's crazy what we do. I was in a community, I was actually at a hockey game, a junior hockey game, talking to a bunch of people. I stopped in this community. I ate in this new restaurant. It was only open for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Fantastic food, this steak place. It was great. And there was a local person behind me. We were all talking, and I said, have you tried out the steak place? And his words to me were, no, she's not from around here. I transport locals. Because she moved to the community 3 years ago. I lost my mind. I said to him, I'm sorry, did you just say that you only shop in places that are, been there for generations, not a new person that's moved there? He said, yeah. I said, that's that's the equivalent of economic inbreeding, right? And he suddenly realized that was the dumbest thing I'd ever done, and so he went there the next day. But that's what we do. We refuse to support some of those outsiders. We don't even shop in their stores, and then we wonder where the new blood's supposed to come from. Immigrants are equally powerful. I mean, the Hudsons came across and were in Missouri, and the Griffiths came across and went to Nova Scotia, and then they came across in the train. So the Griffith side, I know the story a little bit better. My great-grandpa crossed Europe, got onto a boat, rode it for 3 weeks to get to the Maritimes, got off it, got on a train, and rode it for 3 weeks to get to Alberta, to a town called Wetaskiwin, where he then got off the train and walked for almost 3 full days to get to a stake in the ground. And the in-laws that came from Missouri did the same thing. They came up to Homestead in Alberta. They had never seen it before. In fact, it took them months to come from Missouri. They traveled like I've never seen. I don't think I'd be brave enough to move to another country, sight unseen, not knowing what I'm getting into. That takes entrepreneurship and pioneer spirit, the likes of which we have never seen. It's incredible. Now, new immigrants don't have that same challenge. But they do come from places that are not like ours. They come from places where they don't have access to clean drinking water. I mean, less than half of the population of the world has access to clean drinking water. Most of the rest, the water they drink is poorer quality than what we flush down the toilet. Right? And I've been an elected official, seen immigrants move into a new apartment, and seen them turn on the tap at the kitchen, and just be in awe that it comes out pure and clean forever. And then some of them, depending on where they came from, you turn on the other tap and they can't believe it comes out heated. It's like you don't have to boil it. This is mind-blowing. And what do? We've got initiatives now to meter our water so that we can manage how much water we have to pay a bill based on use. And I constantly hear people all over the place complain that they pay $100 for their water bill. Most people I know pay more than that for cable TV. Water is a critical nature. I mean, remember, 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. You can do without everything else, but water is critical. And we complain that we have to pay for something that's a primary resource for us. They come from places where they're lucky if they have the education we do. Many of them don't even have access to grade 6, and if they do, it's not our quality of grade 6. We have some of the best education in the world. And so, but we get here, and then we complain because the teachers have to work too hard, or our classes are too hard, or there's too much homework, or we have school fees. They come from places where they don't have access to post-secondary education. And when they get here, they'll work 2 or 3 jobs to save up to become whatever they want. I mean, as long as you want to work hard and you save up some money, you can be a teacher, a doctor, dentist, an architect, whatever you want to be, even a lawyer if you really want to be one. I always make a little fun of lawyers. So they get here and they think it's amazing. In fact, they come here from places where they don't have the right to vote, or if they do, they risk getting shot or beat up for the right to vote. Right? In fact, in the last 2 years, statistics that I found say that Since World War II, the last 2 years is the first time in history the amount of democracy in the world has gone down. And yet, I don't know about you guys, but in Alberta we get a couple of hours paid time off work to go vote. And the voter turnout in the last election I was involved in was 54%. I don't know why it's not 99%. It's your franchise right that determines your future. They don't get the right to vote and still do it, risk getting shot to do it. And we don't. We don't turn out like we should. So when they get here, this is the land of opportunity. Oh my God, what an amazing place. I can do and be anything I want. And what do? We spend more time sitting in the coffee shop complaining about who's going to fix it, wondering when someone's going to do something. So you take the outsiders and immigrants who have an appreciation for your community and an appreciation for just how good we have it and the opportunities we have to capitalize on. And if you want to kill your community, you got to keep them on the outside. If you're lucky, they'll stay on the outside. If you're really lucky, they'll move and go somewhere else and take their entrepreneurship and their appreciation for your community and your country with them.